It's JBR3 Collector back with another tier ranking video. Finally doing a dinosaur tier ranking video. I meant to be doing that this whole month. It's just been a crazy month, so forgive me. I'll still try to do 4 dinosaur tier rankings in varying different times. This week we're doing the every dinosaur / every creature in the Jurassic franchise, and that includes the Jurassic Park trilogy, the Jurassic World trilogy, Camp Cretaceous, and the Telltale game Jurassic Park game. Now that I'm realizing I missed a couple here and there. I think I missed like the glow-in-the-dark Parasaurolophus from Camp Cretaceous. I meant to put that in there. That would go in the forgettable section, just so you know. Since I forgot it, literally. I think I got every other creature in the franchise in this tier list. So let's start off. I'm gonna go randomly here. Going off of this, so we have Jurassic. That's like the top tier. That's like the most recognizable, the most famous dinosaurs in the franchise. And iconic is one. The ones that have cool iconic scenes. Cool that dinosaurs showed up. Cool creatures that showed up. Forgettable are ones that like people forget even happened. And then bad are just ones that were just really awful. I watched Jurassic World Dominion already, so this does include Jurassic World Dominion dinosaurs. If you don't want to be spoiled, then don't continue to watch. I'm pretty sure every dinosaur in this has been in a trailer or in some kind of like official image. But if you haven't seen any of those, you don't want to be in the know about any of that, then maybe you should not watch this video until after you watch Dominion. But otherwise, start off first. Let's just go randomly. This will be one from the Dominion trailer. We'll start off with the Pyro Raptor. The Pyro Raptor, really cool, or could have been really cool. It's a feather dinosaur, the first feather dinosaur to appear in the Jurassic Park franchise, unless you count the that prologue that people saw with Fast and the Furious 9 or whatever. In the actual movie, I think it's really ugly. Honestly, they might as well have not done the feathers, because if you're gonna do a feather dinosaur, go all the way with it, And this thing was very not half-assed. I'm gonna be ranking these by combination of their design, and how iconic they were in the movies, like how their scenes went, and as well as their paleo accuracy. But paleo accuracy would be at the lower end of this. That's like the least impactful on their score. But anyways, yeah, the Pyro Raptor here. The feathers could have been cool, but they really half-assed them. And the scene it was in was really dumb. And the Pyro Raptor's face is just really ugly. So Pyro Raptor is gonna go in the bad category, I think. Next up, we have, let's go the Ankylosaurus from Jurassic Park 3. The Jurassic Park 3 Ankylosaurus is very similar to the Jurassic World Ankylosaurus, but the Jurassic Park 3 is a little bit more colorful, a little bit more blue, reds and stuff on it. It's in a quick, like 3-second long scene, so it's not very memorable, but it's cool that it showed up, and I'll put it in the cool section. Then we have Pachycephalosaurus from Jurassic Park, The Lost World is what I meant to say. He was in the dinosaur safari hunt scene. Surprised Pachycephalosaurus has never showed up again in the franchise. He's that butthead dinosaur. They called him the Friar Tuck in the movie. But yeah, he's the one with the big dome head. Didn't have a big iconic scene, but was really awesome that it was in the movie. I'll put it in cool. Pachycephalosaurus, really underrated dinosaur in this franchise, I think. Let's go to the first of the raptors. This will be the Jurassic Park 1 Velociraptor. Very iconic, like probably the most famous dinosaur in the, not the famous, most famous, but most, like, probably the most screen time of any animal in the franchise is the Velociraptors in general. The first Jurassic Park raptors had some really awesome scenes. The design's probably like one of the least exciting of all the raptor designs, but the scenes they were in really makes them an iconic staple of the Jurassic Park franchise. On the opposite end of that spectrum, something that's not as iconic in the Jurassic Park franchise will be Iguanodon from the prologue, which was only shown on YouTube and before Fast and the Furious 9 or whatever Fast and Furious movie that was. And unfortunately, I love Iguanodon, and its design is actually really good, but it's very forgettable. It's in a couple seconds in a short 5-minute thing that pretty much nobody has watched. As much as I love Iguanodon, if it's based on its design, it'd be really high. But since it's based on the creature in the movie itself, it's a low-ranking animal dinosaur. Next up, we are going with my favorite sauropod. This is Mamenchisaurus. Most people don't even know Mamenchisaurus is in the franchise. He was in the Lost World. There's 2 of them in the Lost World during the dinosaur chase scene, along with Pachycephalosaurus. That's the big giant sauropod that the guy on the motorcycle rides his bike through. legs of. And Mamenchisaurus is a big Chinese dinosaur and super long neck, one of the longest necks per body ratio of any sauropod. I think it's a really cool dinosaur, but in the franchise it has done nothing, and that makes it in the forgettable section, unfortunately. Next up is going to be the first of 3 Pteranodons to show up on this list. This is the Pteranodon from the Lost World, and this is by far the best design for a Pteranodon in the whole series. For one, it's the only Pteranodon that doesn't have teeth. Pteranodon's name means toothless wing because it has no teeth in its beak. And unfortunately, in the later movies, they add teeth to him. And this thing just looks like a Pteranodon. It has the big long crest and no teeth in its mouth. I like the color scheme on this thing a lot. It's literally a total of 6 seconds at the end of The Lost World, which is really sad. But even though it's only in 6 seconds, the design of it is so much better than the other Pteranodon, and because it's a Pteranodon, it's still going to get higher ranking. It's not going to be forgettable because people know the Pteranodon, whether they remember it from that movie or not. It's still in the franchise in general. They still know the Pteranodon, and I can't rank this bad design any lower than cool. I was really hoping they'd bring that design back in future movies, but they never did. Next up is going to be, this is the Gallimimus from Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park movie. The Gallimimus, that's that big ostrich-looking dinosaur that runs in the field, and Dr. Grant and the kids have to hide behind a log to avoid. It's a pretty iconic scene, I think. I'll put it in iconic. I love the Gallimimus in Jurassic Park. I think it's a really fun dinosaur. In real life, they would have had a lot. It would have been covered in feathers, but it's Jurassic Park franchise, so we're not basing it off of science. I think they're fun. I think that's a pretty cool scene, and be the first dinosaur in iconic. On the opposite end of that, again, we have Cory Thesaurus from Jurassic Park 3. It's another dinosaur most people don't remember even being in Jurassic Park 3. Because it was in a very short scene where they're running through the field. You see a couple Parasaurolophus, and a few Cory Thesauruses, and they go on a they start running through the field, and the people try to avoid being trampled by them. And I'll put Parasaurolophus in forgettable, just because Parasaurolophus is a pretty forgettable creature in that movie. Its design is not bad by any means. It's a nice hadrosaur. It's cool to have more hadrosaurs, duckbill dinosaurs, for those who don't know, in the movies, but it's just not in a very memorable scene. Then we have, let's go with Troodon from the Telltale Games Jurassic Park game. I never played this game, but this design is really interesting, and I've heard that part of this game may or may not be canon in the Jurassic franchise, and it's definitely one of the more memorable creatures from that game. I'll put it in cool. Then we have, from Camp Cretaceous, something that I think is really dumb. I'm going to put it in bad automatically. This is Spinoceratops. I didn't watch the season of Camp Cretaceous, but just hearing that there's a Spinoceratops in it is dumb, because that's another hybrid thing. And I'm tired of them doing hybrids in this franchise. And of them all, I think that's the laziest of all the hybrids. Just a combination of 2 creatures just slammed together, Spinosaurus and Spinoceratops. And yeah, it's not too great. So from Jurassic Park 3, we have the Brachiosaurus. This is not the original Brachiosaurus from the first movie. This is the one from JP3 when they're on the boat tour. It's not really a tour, but they're on the boat and they drive past the herd of dinosaurs, and the Brachiosaurus is there, and it's just so ugly looking. They ruined the beautiful design of the Brachiosaurus in the first movie, and luckily it's not on screen very long, but they go real close up on that thing's face, and it's hideous, and it's gonna go in bad. After that, we're gonna go with a more famous dinosaur in the franchise. We're going to go with the Compsognathus, or the Compy for short, the little tiny little green dinosaur from the beginning of The Lost World, and it ended up killing Dietrich Stark later in the movie, and pretty fun little creature. I'm surprised it hasn't showed up much since it was in the second movie a lot. It showed up in the third movie for a second. It showed up here and there in the Jurassic World franchise, but hasn't really done much of note since then, but I'll put it in iconic because I think it is a pretty standout little creature. Especially because when you think of dinosaurs, you don't think of teeny tiny little bird-sized animals, and Compsognathus is one of the few, and it's kind of a standout, I think. So yeah, Compsognathus in iconic. Up we have the Stegosaurus, also from the Lost World. Stegosaurus in the Lost World, I think, is a great design. They're huge. Don't get me wrong, they're gigantic in that movie. Stegosaurus is a pretty big dinosaur, but it's not that big. But that scene that they're in is really cool, pretty fun. I'm going to put the Stegosaurus in iconic as well. I think the Lost World's a really slept on movie. I don't know why people hate it so much. But yeah, the Stegosaurus is definitely a cool dinosaur, or definitely iconic dinosaur, their famous scene in that movie. After the Stegosaurus, we are going to go with the Jurassic World Raptor pack. This is Delta, Charlie, Echo, and Blue. Honestly, based on the designs, I like Delta, Echo, and Charlie way better than Blue's design. but Blue is, you know, a big deal dinosaur in this franchise. She's been like the star dinosaur of the last 3 movies. But the other 3 died in the first movie of the Jurassic World series. So I don't know. Blue's design just, you know, I don't think Blue is really that great of a character in the series. But because she's such a big character, I'll put her in iconic. I just don't think she deserves to be in the Jurassic section, and the other 3 definitely don't deserve to be in the Jurassic section. So we'll put them in iconic. Then there is the Kentrosaurus from Camp Cretaceous. Kentrosaurus looks like a lot like the Stegosaurus. It's a stegosaurid, but it has more spikes on it. It's from Africa. Stegosaurus is from North America and like some parts of Europe. But Kentrosaurus is from Africa, and it appeared in Camp Cretaceous, the season I didn't get to watch yet. But it had a big enough deal that it got some DLC in my Jurassic World video game, so I'll put it in cool. I think it's cool that Kentrosaurus showed up in the series at least, and it's nice not having Stegosaurus be the only Stegosaur in the Jurassic Park franchise. I think that's pretty cool. So I like the design of it in the pictures I've seen. Go with a creature that wasn't even a living dinosaur in the movie, but we see it in the Lockwood Mansion in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's the Concavenator. It goes unforgettable, but honestly, it appears to be one of the most paleo accurate creatures in the series, but it's just a stuffed, like, taxidermy dinosaur in the mansion. And it's very forgettable it's even there, but it's cool that it showed up, but most people didn't even notice it was there. So it goes unforgettable, unfortunately. Then we have the T-Rex. Let's go with our first T-Rex. This is the T-Rex in the Jurassic Park 3 movie, the one that gets killed by the Spinosaurus. Cool color scheme for this T-Rex. Cool fight scene with the Spinosaurus, even though it dies. They call this T-Rex Buck. I don't know if it's I've heard things where it might be the same baby from the Lost World, but now as an adult or sub-adult T-Rex. I think it's really cool seeing those, so I'll still put it in cool. But yeah, the T-Rex in Jurassic Park 3 that dies by the Spinosaurus. Then we have Dimorphodon. Dimorphodon, I know so many people think this is a hybrid pterosaur. They think it's a pterosaur, a pterodactyl with a T-Rex head gene, but it's not. Dimorphodon is an actual creature. It does not have a T-Rex head. It has a more dinosaur-esque looking head than most pterosaurs do, but not quite to the extent that they did with this movie, and it goes in bad. It's a really ugly design, and it really hasn't done much in the series, so luckily they did away with using it too much. It's just a really bad, ugly design. On the opposite end of that, here's a great-looking pterosaur. This is Quetzalcoatlus from both the prologue for Jurassic World Dominion and Jurassic World Dominion itself. The Quetzalcoatlus had a few pretty cool scenes in this movie, and it looks amazing. It is fairly paleo accurate as well. It's huge. It has the fluffy little the feather fluffs on it. It's really cool looking, and I think it goes in iconic because I think it just overall it's not in a whole lot of the franchise, but the parts that it is in, it stands out, I think. And then from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, we have Allosaurus. This is the Allosaurus that was running from the volcanic explosion. Was in the movie for a few seconds, really didn't do much. Sadly, I'll put it in forgettable. Allosaurus is a very famous dinosaur. For a long time, until the Jurassic Park movies came out, basically, I would have called Allosaurus the second most famous big carnivorous dinosaur, T-Rex and then Allosaurus. But that's been changed by, Spinosaurus has taken that place over the years, and other dinosaurs have overtaken Allosaurus since then. But the Jurassic Park franchise is crazy that it took all the way until the second to last movie for Allosaurus to show up. But it has showed up a lot since Fallen Kingdom. It showed up in Battle at Big Rock. It's a different Allosaurus, and it showed up in Dominion. And I think it's cool to finally have Allosaurus, but he's very forgettable in this specific Allosaurus in Fallen Kingdom is very forgettable. Then we have, this will be Toro from Camp Cretaceous. Toro is like one of the main antagonist dinosaurs in the series, and I mean, he has a name and everything. So I think I'll put Toro in Jurassic. I think he's had a very big role in the Camp Cretaceous series, and Carnotaurus is a cool dinosaur. The thing about him, Carnotaurus, is the arms are actually too long on the Carnotaurus in the Jurassic World movies. They should have teeny tiny arms. I mean, it has teeny tiny arms, but it should be even smaller, even teenier, tinier. And yeah, the Toro, cool. I think Carnotaurus is all, you can't ever go wrong with Carnotaurus. And I'll put him in Jurassic, even though it may not seem like it'd be a good thing to go in Jurassic, but I think it fits. Then we have this is the Jurassic World Triceratops, which hasn't really done much in the Jurassic World movies. It's kind of just more of a background dinosaur. But I mean, you've seen it enough in the background, I'll put it in cool. We'll go with Ceratosaurus next. Ceratosaurus is from Jurassic Park 3. The scene where they're digging through the Spinosaurus poop to find the cell phone. Ceratosaurus walks out of the forest, walks up to them. Everyone gets all intimidated. It takes a sniff and then turns around and walks away. And that's it. It did nothing else. It had a really cool color scheme. It looks nothing like a Ceratosaurus. It looks more like a T-Rex with a horn on its nose. But that scene was pretty cool. I'll put it in cool. But yeah, the Spinosaurus did nothing in the franchise at that point. Then we have another Dominion dinosaur. Let's go Herrerasaurus. Herrerasaurus made its debut in Jurassic World Dominion. Herrerasaurus has the longest claws of any animal to ever live. It's a theropod dinosaur. It's in the carnivorous dinosaur family, but it's an herbivore. And it's a really cool dinosaur. It has some really cool scenes in Jurassic World Dominion. It's not in a whole lot of the movie, but it is in some really cool scenes to the point that it could go top tier, but maybe more like iconic. I don't know. I'll put it in Jurassic tier. It doesn't look too much like a real Therizinosaurus. I mean, it has this right body shape. It should be more feathered, but of course it's Jurassic Park. I'm not gonna give too much hate for that. It has feathers in general, so it's cool. And it's just a really cool dinosaur. I have a huge feeling that after Jurassic World Dominion, Therizinosaurus is going to be a lot of kids' new favorite dinosaur. Back in the ceratopsids, we got Sinoceratops from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and then later on appeared again in Camp Cretaceous and in Jurassic World Dominion. It has appeared a lot in the franchise since it first appeared, which is just funny for a dinosaur that was almost not even in the series. Originally, it was going to be Pachycephalosaurus in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, but to appease the Chinese market, Universal added in a Chinese dinosaur to replace Pachycephalosaurus, and it was Sinoceratops here. Sinoceratops has a horn and it has those big holes in the frill, which makes no sense. Does not. I mean, I guess it could be a cool design, I guess, but I personally don't like it. I personally don't like the design, but it's been in the franchise it's been a big deal in the franchise for a couple movies now, so I'll put it in iconic. Actually, no, I'll put it in cool. Those holes in the frill, the design really kills it, but it could be iconic just by how much it showed up. But because its design brings it down, it's unfortunate. Then we have, from Jurassic Park 1, it's the very first dinosaur you ever see in the whole franchise. It goes straight to Jurassic. It is the Brachiosaurus. It's a beautiful scene. They really make the dinosaurs out to be animals, big, giant, extinct, beautiful animals. And yeah, the Brachiosaurus is just incredible. I love every scene the original Brachiosaurus was in. Yeah, it's so great. They kind of brought it down a little bit in Fallen Kingdom with those trying to be sad scenes that really didn't work. But that just from that one opening scene alone, and then the later on in the movie where it sneezes on Lex. Yeah, great dinosaur. Fallen Kingdom. We're gonna go with not our first non-dinosaur. We have a couple pterosaurs on this list. But our first mammal in the franchise, and the only true mammal in the franchise, this is Smilodon. I didn't know Smilodon appeared in Camp Cretaceous. It's really awesome that it did. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's a pretty cool scene. I'm putting it in cool just because we have a non-Mesozoic creature in the Jurassic Park franchise, and that's awesome. So Smilodon gets cool automatically. I was hoping we get mammoths or something in Jurassic World franchise, but never did. Hope I get that as a DLC for my Jurassic World game. But we could. Smilodon, really, really cool that it's in this game. Then we have, this will be the Carnotaurus from Fallen Kingdom. The Carnotaurus was in the same scene as the Allosaurus, but actually did more in it than the Allosaurus did. It fought the Spinoceratops, and they got beat up by the T-Rex, and later on in the movie, the T-Rex have another confrontation. I wouldn't call it iconic, but I don't want to call it cool either. Carnotaurus is a really cool dinosaur in general, though. Like, you know, Carnotaurus was the star carnivore dinosaur in the Disney dinosaur movie back in the early 2000s. So that was pretty fun too. This Carnotaurus will go in. We'll go in cool. How about that? We haven't done a Velociraptor in a while. Let's do some Velociraptors again. This is the female Velociraptor from Jurassic Park 3, the black and white designed ones. I think those are some of the coolest designed raptors in the whole series. And honestly, the Jurassic Park 3 raptors, I think, had a really cool story arc. I'm going to put them in Jurassic. Again, this isn't based on scientific accuracy. If it was scientific accurate, the raptors would not be at the top. But just as dinosaurs in the series, I think they're just like the stars of the show every time. And, I mean, the franchise is basically named after them. Velociraptor became a household name for a dinosaur after Jurassic Park came out. And, yeah, the JP3 Raptors are my favorite designs. The males and females both. Which are the males right here. I'll put them over there as well. They're both just great designs. I think as far as Jurassic Park dinosaur designs go, I like the Jurassic Park 3 Raptors a lot. Here we go with I gave the Stegosaurus earlier a iconic rating. I liked the Lost World Stegosaurus a lot. The Jurassic World Stegosaurus I like a lot less. I'm going to put it in forgettable because I can't even name a scene that it was actually in other than like the gyrosphere scene and the scene where they're running later on. So yeah, I think the Jurassic World Stegosaurus is just so bland and it's just gray and boring looking, so it goes forgettable. Next up is let's just take the elephant out of the room here. Here's the Indominus Rex. I personally hate the Indominus Rex, but honestly, it did have a pretty good role in Jurassic World, and I'll put it in iconic because it is an iconic creature now because of that movie. I hate to say it, but yeah, it's very iconic, and of all the hybrids that have appeared in the movies, I guess it is the best one. They all go downhill from after the Indominus, and the Indominus was a pretty low hill to begin with. But I feel like it'd be very biased and unfair for me to put it in bad, even though I would really love to put the Indominus Rex in the bad section. Next up is the Jurassic World version of the Ankylosaurus. Same thing can be said as the Stegosaurus. It's just the same thing as the JP3 one, but with a more dull design. But the Ankylosaurus, I think it makes more sense for it to be dull, though, because it's an armored dinosaur. Stegosaurus has a spike in the back, which is usually colorful in most media. So the Ankylosaurus will go on the same level as the JP3 Ankylosaurus. Here we go with the Mosasaurus from all three Jurassic World movies. And the Mosasaurus, the big thing about the Mosasaurus is that it is a big thing. It is huge. This thing is different size in every movie. Every scene that it's in, it's a different size. Sometimes it looks like it's about 80 feet. Other times it looks like it's like 300 feet. And it's just ridiculous. If you've seen Dominion, my God, it is massive in Dominion. It is, spoilers here if you haven't seen it, sorry. There's a scene at the end of the movie where you see the Mosasaurus next to a humpback whale, and it is large enough, it is big enough to swallow that humpback whale easily. It is ridiculous, and I hate the Mosasaurus because of that. Its design is cool, like other than being way oversized, its design's cool. It has the pterygoid teeth that Mosasaurs have. If it was just scaled down a lot, it would be really sweet, but I want to go iconic with it because it's in the movie so much, but I just hate how big it is. I want to put it in iconic because of how much it's in the movie, but just how big it is really brings it down, so I think I'm going to put it in bad. Because it ruins everything that's in because of how massive it is. Because it just takes you out of the movie. Because nothing that big could physically live. It's bigger than the blue whale in most of the scenes that it's in. The blue whale is the biggest animal to ever live. You know? But its scenes are always cool, though. I mean, I'm not thinking anything wrong away from it. What do I do? It's either in bad or iconic, man. It's not in the middle of the pack dinosaur, a creature. It's not a dinosaur. It's a sea reptile. I don't know. It's really hard to say. I'll put it in bad. But maybe end of the video I'll change my mind and put it in iconic. I don't know. It's that much of a controversial creature. Here's a creature that is really cool, looks very realistic, but it's in a scene that is cut from Dominion and is only in their prologue. It's the Oviraptor, and it's forgettable. I believe they had the Oviraptor stealing eggs, and Oviraptor was determined to not actually be an egg thief, which is pretty funny that they had to do that in the Jurassic Park movies as well. So it goes unforgettable, even though it's a really cool design. Really cool design. And what's not a cool design is the Jurassic World version of the Pteranodon. You can say the Pteranodon are all females in Jurassic World. That's why they have all small crests, but they still have teeth, and they're ugly. The design just got worse and worse with every series that the Pteranodon showed up in. Pteranodon goes in bad. The Jurassic World Pteranodon goes in bad, I should say. Here is the Aranasaurus from Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. It's a hadrosaur or iguanodontid. It's debatable where they're at. From North Africa. Has a sail on its back. Makes it stand out a lot as a creature. Had a pretty cool scene. I'll put it in cool. I didn't see that season yet again, but I've heard about the scene. I heard it was really cool, so I'll put it in cool. Up is the Herrerasaurus from Jurassic Park: The Lost World. This is from that chase scene. The Parasaurolophus design hasn't really changed a whole lot movie to movie. I mean, the colors has changed, but the overall design is pretty much the same. And because it's been in so many movies, in so many cool scenes, in so many, maybe not cool scenes, but in so many scenes in general, I'll put it in Jurassic because I think it's the most commonly seen herbivorous dinosaur in the whole series, I think. It had another good scene in Dominion. And yeah, I'll put Parasaurolophus in general up here in Jurassic. Maybe I could have added the other Parasaurolophuses in here, and it would have lowered its score a little bit, but whatever. Especially the Camp Cretaceous one that glows in the dark. That would have been another addition that should have been in here that I totally forgot, so my bad on that one. Then we have, here's Ceratosaurus again, but this time from Camp Cretaceous, and it was cool again in Camp Cretaceous. The colors are less cool, but the dinosaur itself looks more accurate, not totally accurate, but still more accurate. And yeah, it's cool that it showed up again. Cool they gave it another scene. I think they have another scene where it just like walks right by the people. I haven't seen the last 2 seasons or the last 1 season. I don't remember how many seasons I'm behind. But I don't know if it shows up again, but it basically does the same thing that the JP3 Stratosaurus did, but goes to water instead of away from the feces. Here's a stock photo, not a stock photo, but a Empire magazine, some photo or something like that of Lystrosaurus from Jurassic World Dominion. And if you've seen Jurassic World Dominion, this thing is hilarious in that movie. I loved the little scene with the Lystrosaurus. I was laughing so much with that scene. I'm gonna put it in iconic. I thought it was hilarious. Yeah, it's not in the movie very much at all. And Lystrosaurus isn't a dinosaur. Lystrosaurus is actually more related to mammals than it is to reptiles. It's a mammal-like reptile. So it's more mammalian than more related to mammals than it's to dinosaurs, what I should say. It's still reptilian, but it's on its way to becoming a mammal. At one point, Lystrosaurus was the widest ranged animal on the planet. There was Lystrosaurus in every single continent on Earth at one point. That was during the Pangea. But yeah, Lystrosaurus, really cool that it appeared in Jurassic World Dominion, and I think it's iconic. It was hilarious in the little scene that it was in. Next up, this is the Baryonyx family from Camp Cretaceous. They were in a whole bunch of Camp Cretaceous, so I'll put them in iconic, I guess. So they were in quite a bit of the first couple seasons of that, and I'm sure they still are. They all have names. One's Limbo, one's Graham, one's something else. So yeah, they'll go iconic. That's cool. Any dinosaur that's named should at least be iconic. Then we have here is the Apatosaurus from Jurassic World and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Dominion and Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. It's been in the whole Jurassic World franchise. And I think its design is pretty ugly. It's basically like an elephant if an elephant was a sauropod. Its design brings it down. I'll put it in cool. But really, it's not that great of a design. It's not a horrible design. It's not like it's all right. So it goes in cool. Then we have this is the feathered T-Rex from the prologue that gets killed by the Giganotosaurus. The feathering is cool on it. It's basically just the same thing that Buck does. It just gets killed by the noob kid on the block. It's just a what's the word? Well, they use it in wrestling. It's a jobber basically. T-Rex has kind of been a jobber in the whole Jurassic World franchise. It's cool. The design's cool, so I'll put it in cool. But it's not like anything spectacular. Here's Microceratus, goes unforgettable. Microceratus has been in the Jurassic Park franchise since before the franchise was even a movie. Microceratus is in the novel a lot, and but it finally made its first appearance in Jurassic World Dominion, and it was in like a video screen thing getting pet by a scientist lady. And it's not in the movies, it's forgettable, but it's been in the Jurassic Park franchise since the very beginning. Then we have, let's go Ankylosaurus again. This time it's Bumpy from Camp Cretaceous. Bumpy gets to go to iconic because Bumpy is iconic. It has a name, been in the whole series. Don't even know if it's Bumpy still alive or not. Is it? I have no idea. But it's one of the main characters in the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous series. So yeah, Bumpy will go in iconic, even though I don't like the blue color. Like, I think it doesn't work for an Ankylosaur to be that bright, but you know, whatever, it's fine. Next up, here is Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park and Jurassic World Dominion. Definitely goes in Jurassic. I mean, that scene where it kills Dennis Nedry, iconic as hell, super iconic. And Jurassic World Dominion, it's another iconic scene where it kills off Dodson, we got Dodson here. Yeah, Dilophosaurus definitely a Jurassic level dinosaur. And it's after dinosaur from the Jurassic period. So how about that? Next up is the Herrerasaurus from the Telltale Games Jurassic Park game. I forgot about this one for a while until I was just about finished with this tier ranking thing, and then I decided to add it in, and so I'm going to put it in forgettable because I literally forgot about it. Here is something really bad. It goes in bad. It's the Scorpius Rex from Camp Cretaceous, the quote-unquote first hybrid. I call it the worst hybrid. It just looks awful. It looks like something out of a Xenomorph Aliens movie, and I hate it. So it goes in bad. Then we have the Tyrannosaur family from Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and that goes in Jurassic. They're in the whole movie. They have the baby gets saved by Inakima's family. The Rex goes on a rampage in San Diego. They tear poor Eddie apart, the most undeserving death in the whole franchise. But the Lost World T-Rex, I mean, that's definitely going to be a Jurassic dinosaur. Then we have Stiggy Malik, demon from the river Styx. That's Styx. That's what its name means. In real paleontology, there's debates over whether Stiggy Malik is a juvenile Pachycephalosaurus or not. I'm not going to get into that debate, but Stiggy will go on iconic. He had a bigger scene than Pachycephalosaurus had, and I think it's only been in Fallen Kingdom, right? I think it might have showed up a little bit in Dominion, but yeah, Stiggy Malik, cool dinosaur. Pachycephalosaurus with a little bit more scenes, bigger spikes on its head, more brighter colors. Stiggy Malik will go on iconic. Maybe I'm being too lenient with the iconic thing. I don't know, but whatever. Then we have Gallimimus from Jurassic World. It's, almost the same design as the Jurassic Park one, but just duller. So I'll go with forgettable for it. It didn't have nearly as much of a scene in Jurassic World as it did in Jurassic Park. So forgettable, unfortunately. Then we have, this is Allosaurus from Jurassic World Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion and the Battle at Big Rock Allosaurus. I believe this is the same one. It looks very similar anyways. It's the same size. Huge. It's in some funny scenes in Dominion, and then the Battle at Big Rock short film is really great. So I'll put him in iconic. I think it is really fun scene. And his little buddy, the Demon Carnotaurus, which is based on the old Kenner Jurassic Park toys from the 90s, which is really sweet. He'll go in iconic too. I think it's funny people online are shipping the Carnotaurus and the Allosaurus from Dominion. If you know what that means, it's hilarious. If you don't know what it means, then whatever. But yeah, I think they go iconic together. The iconic couple of Jurassic World. Next up is probably arguably the most paleo accurate creature in the whole franchise. Maybe the Oviraptor tied for it. It says Moros Intrepidus, and they mention it by name in the Dominion movie, saying how it's specifically very, very paleo accurate. Shows up again later in the movie. It was also in the prologue. But it's not in a whole lot of the movie. It's not in any funny scenes or anything like that. It's just in a scene. But it is very paleo accurate. If this was a paleo accurate list, it'd be like, boom, way up here. But no, it's not paleo accurate list. It's just Jurassic Park dinosaurs and creatures based on how they are in the series. And so Morris is a cool addition, but it's Moros, sorry, not Morris. I don't know why I said. Anyways, it's a cool addition, and it's unfortunate we can get to see it more. Here is the Atrocious, which if you watch the trailers for Dominion, looks like it's going to be a big deal in the movie, but it's not. It's forgettable. It's in one scene, and then it's never talked about again. Chases Owen Grady throughout, chases Chris Pratt throughout Malta, and then you never hear about the dinosaur again. It's done. There's another oversized raptor, but this time it's oversized raptor that does nothing. So next up is the Baryonyx from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It's in that cool scene where it's chasing the people. It's kind of dumb though, because no animal is going to risk dying, being burnt by lava to eat a person. Baryonyx will just go in cool. It's cool that Baryonyx showed up, but it's kind of a dumb scene. And I also like the design for it very much. Baryonyx it's a Spinosaurus, so they look like crocodilians, kind of, but this one looks literally like a crocodile with long legs, and it just doesn't work. Next up is the Indoraptor from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and it goes in bad. The Indoraptor, same thing as Scorpius Rex. It reminds me of like an alien from like a xenomorph from the Aliens movies. But this one has an even dumber name. Indoraptor means Indian thief, India thief. They want it to mean Indominus Raptor, basically, but that's not what it translates to in English. It translates to India thief. And yeah, it's stupid name, terrible design, dumbass dinosaur creature, or dumbass hybrid. It's like the worst of this franchise. Then we have Ceratops in a while. Here is Pseudoceratops from Battle at Big Rock, and I don't know if it appeared in Cap Cretaceous or not, but it was definitely in Dominion quite a few times. I liked it. I think it's better than the Sinoceratops. Not as good as Triceratops, but it'll go in iconic, I think. And Pseudoceratops is a pretty cool dinosaur. Then we have, I think this is the last creature from Camp Cretaceous. This is Dilophosaurus. Not much to say. I haven't watched the series that it was in, or the season that it was in, but it's a cool design. I'll put it in cool. Then we have from Jurassic World Dominion again. Here is Dimetrodon, who's definitely going to go in iconic. Really cool scene for Dimetrodons, even though it makes no sense for a thing with a big sail on its back to live in a cave, because that sail's going to prevent you from like crawling through crevices in a cave. But cool mammal-like reptile, just like Dilophosaurus earlier. It's more closely related to you and I than it is to a dinosaur, and very cool that it finally appeared in the franchise. It's a creature that is so iconic in paleo media. Metrodon finally getting its just desserts in a Jurassic Park movie. It's really cool. Oh, next up we have the Pteranodon from Jurassic Park 3. Cool design, other than the teeth in its mouth. The teeth really ruin it. The design's not as good as the Lost World design, but the scene that it's in is awesome. So I'm gonna go Jurassic with it, just because of the scene that the Pteranodon is in. They ruined the Pteranodon in later movies with their designs. This one's design, the color scheme is really cool, and the look of it's cool until it opens its mouth and has the teeth, and it's just ruined. But as a whole, the scene that it's in, really great scene. One of the best scenes in Jurassic Park 3, I'd say, and definitely a Jurassic level creature. I want to keep it Jurassic here. Let's go Triceratops. Jurassic Park 1. It didn't do anything in the movie. It was just dying, or sick. But that's a really cool animatronic, really cool scene. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Triceratops scene in Jurassic Park. It's a beautiful scene. It's amazing. I think every Jurassic Park creature is in the first Jurassic Park movie. Creature is in top tier here. It's just such a great movie. Every scene of dinosaurs in it is a great scene in that movie. And this Triceratops is just great. What's funny is the animatronic for the Triceratops is actually blue, but they covered it in mud and dirt for the scene, and so it looks like it's brown. But really, the creature is blue, and it's really funny. From Jurassic World Dominion, we have the Dreadnoughtus. Badass name for a cool ass dinosaur. Dreadnoughtus is potentially the largest dinosaur to ever live, largest animal to ever walk on Earth, potentially, between Dreadnoughtus and Argentinosaurus and Protosaurus and Patagotitan and whatever. There's so many different giant titanosaurs, especially from Argentina. Dreadnoughtus is a really badass name. His name means fear nothing. The line when Dr. Grant, is that Dreadnoughtus? Yes, that's Dreadnoughtus. His name means fear nothing, but you already knew that. Dumbass line. Dumb line. But cool as in the movie. It didn't do anything though. It was just gonna go cool. It didn't have any scene really, but it just looked awesome. And so it goes in cool. So, last 4 creatures here. We have something from Jurassic Park, something from The Lost World, something from Jurassic Park 3, and something from Jurassic World Dominion. So, I think we'll start off with from Jurassic Park. Going straight to Jurassic, it is Rexy, or Roberta, as the animatronic was named. Rexy from Jurassic Park. I don't even need to explain it. She's been in every single, well, actually she wasn't in 2 or 3, but she's been in Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Dominion, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. Rexy is the star of Jurassic Park as a franchise, and she's clearly a Jurassic level dinosaur. Definitely the best. If there was a tier above Jurassic here, Rexy would be up there all by herself potentially. That's the most iconic creature in the whole series, bar none. And I don't think that's debatable by any means. But joining Rexy and Jurassic is the Raptors from The Lost World Jurassic Park. That's most people's favorite design for the Raptors here, the Tiger Raptors as they call them here. And they're cool. They're really cool scenes again. And you can't go wrong with the Lost World Raptors. Everything you said about the previous Raptors can be said about the Lost World Raptors, just the design's cool too, and people love it. Then continuing the Jurassic trait here, the Jurassic trend here, the star of Jurassic Park 3, what became my favorite dinosaur for most of my life because of this movie, is no longer my favorite dinosaur, but still a very intriguing dinosaur. Spinosaurus. Spinosaurus is the largest. I should say not largest. Tyrannosaurus has the most mass. It's the heaviest. Spinosaurus is the longest carnivorous theropod dinosaur to ever walk the earth and swim the earth. We've learned a lot more about this creature over time. It doesn't look anything like Jurassic Park 3 Spinosaurus. I get it. At the time, this is kind of what we thought Spinosaurus looked like, though. Can't fault the design too much for that. But yeah, it was the star of Jurassic Park 3. I mean, it killed the T-Rex. It was in the whole movie. It was basically a slasher film villain trying to kill off these people so bad. It was chasing people the whole movie. I was really bummed out that it did not show up in Jurassic World Dominion. I was hoping it would at least have a shout out in Jurassic World Dominion, but it didn't. And unfortunately that. But anyways, still Jurassic level creature. It was the star of his own movie. That automatically makes it Jurassic level. Spinosaurus. Good way to end out the Jurassic list. Oh, is that a spoiler? No. In bad tier, we're ending with the Giganotosaurus. For one, they call it a Giganotosaurus in the movie, and they call it the largest carnivore to ever live. Both those statements are wrong. It is pronounced Giganotosaurus, and if you want to test me to see if I'm wrong about that, go on YouTube and type in how to pronounce Giganotosaurus, and it'll tell you it's Giganotosaurus. It's not Gigantosaurus. It's not Gigantosaurus. It's not Giganotosaurus. It's Giganotosaurus, and they have the paleontologist guy in the movie say it's a Giganotosaurus, and that's the biggest carnivore to ever live. And it's just not a true statement at all. It's not even the biggest carnivore in the movie. The Mosasaurus is a carnivore. It's not a dinosaur, but it's a carnivore. They don't say biggest carnivorous dinosaur. This is the biggest carnivore to ever live. Mosasaurus is bigger than it, for one. Two, the name is wrong. Three, the design is hideous. Its design is hideous. And then four, it really doesn't do anything. It almost kills Rexy, and then they end up beating it, and that's it. Giganotosaurus gone. Yeah, it really did nothing for this franchise. I think everything about the Giganotosaurus was bad in this movie. If it was cut out, the movie would be quite a bit better, to be honest with you, if you ask me. But yeah, that's the list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It was a lot of fun making this, and hopefully I can get myself to do another dinosaur tier ranking video. What should I do? Dinosaur documentaries? Dinosaur movies? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me know what you guys thought. Let me know what you guys thought of Jurassic World Dominion. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a really fun time. Not a good movie, but a fun movie. So catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.